open up a terminal, we're going to use Homebrew to help install stuff. So we're going to run /bin/bash C. We're going to paste in a line. I'm going to put this stuff in the description so you can just copy and paste these commands. Then we got to give your password to your computer. Give sudo access. And it says the following new directories will be created. Press return enter to continue or any other key to abort. We're going to continue, let it do its thing. And if you're not familiar with Homebrew, I'm not either. So like I said, I'm way more comfortable on a Windows computer, but I have a Mac also that I want to run mlagents on. I think it'll actually run it better on my Mac, assuming that I'm able to get this with GPU acceleration and all that set up. So figured I would just record the process and see if it helps anybody out there, because that's what this channel is all about, is helping you learn ML agents. I'm going to be learning ML agents as well. I have been messing around with it for about a week now, and I'm loving it. I want to get really good with it, so why not make a channel about it? Alright, so we got Homebrew installed, but we need to add it to our path. So in order to do that, again, I'll put this in the description so you can just copy and paste it, because it's what I'm doing also. It's just copying and pasting these commands. So we're going to copy and paste this and then press enter. I think it added it to the path. So we can check by just typing in brew version, Homebrew 4.4.22. So yes, it is installed and it is added to our path. That completes step 1 of installing Homebrew. Now we want to install Python, either 3.10 or 3.11. Let's go with 3.10. I want to say 3.10 is what I use on Windows. Type in brew install Python at 3.10. Let it do its thing. Alright, now we want to confirm that Python is installed, and to do that on a Mac, you type in Python 3 -- version. And there we go, Python 3.10.11. That completes step 2. Now we need to install dependencies. So we want to upgrade pip and then install a virtual environment. Python 3 pip install upgrade pip. Alright, and then we want to do pip install virtual env. We're going to be using Unity 6 for this. So we're going to say new project and make sure we got Unity 6 up here selected. I'm not going to be using Universal. I'm going to be using the 3D built-in render pipeline. And I'm going to name mine ML Racing. And then we're just going to create a project. Let's go ahead and install ML agents. Just go up to Window, Package Manager, and make sure you have Unity Registry selected and just search ML. And then click Install under ML Agents. Alright, it should be installed. You can verify this by underneath your project window pane. Scroll down underneath packages and you should see ML Agents there. So that is taken care of. Now we want to go open up a terminal window if you don't already have one open, and you want to navigate to where your project lives. So mine is cd ml-racing, and that's where my project lives. If you don't know where your project lives, where the path is, just go to the Unity hub, locate your project and click the 3 dots next to it, and then select reveal in Finder, and it should take you to it. So yeah, we're ready for the next step. But before we proceed, let's do something that we need to do in order to run ML agents, and that's we need to make a YAML file. So let's do that through the command line. So yeah, you just need to be where your project is, and then you're gonna type in nano, and then the name of whatever you want your YAML file to be. Just call it test config right now, because we're not gonna use this anyways. So we've got that. We've got that file created. You can see, well, we haven't saved it yet, so we haven't made it just yet. And then just copy and paste the YAML file. I'll put this in the description. It'll look like it didn't put the whole thing in, but I promise you it did. You just gotta press Control Y to page up, and what is it? Control V to page down. So if you go Control Y, page up, you can see the beginning of the text. So it did save it. So we just need to exit, and when we exit, it will ask us if we want to save. So Control X to exit, and it says Save Modified Buffer. We just need to press Y for yes, and then that's the file name we want to write. So we just press Enter. And now we have a test config YAML, and we can go ahead and make our virtual environment, and we should be good to go. So now we need to make our virtual environment, and in order to do that, underneath your project directory, you just say Python 3-m venv, and then the name of what you want your virtual environment to be. So I'm going to call it venv00 and press enter. And that should have created it. Now we need to activate it. So to activate it, type source and then the name of whatever you named it. So mine is venv00/bin/activate. And you can tell it's activated when you see in parentheses the name of your virtual environment next to the rest of your text in the terminal. So we can tell it's activated. Now with it activated, we want to install mlagents. So we'll say pip install mlagents. Let it run, let it install everything it needs to install. And you can see it says that pip has a new release available. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just say pip install upgrade pip. All right, now we already have mlagents installed in our virtual environment. We have it installed in our project. So now all we need to install is PyTorch, and this is what we need to copy and paste into the terminal. I'll put that in the description. This is for if you have an Apple with an M series chip, a silicon chip, M1, M2, M3, M, whatever, if you're watching this in the future. But yeah, this line right here will get you the version you need. Just press enter. And I'll also paste a line that you can type if you don't have an M chip. If you have an Intel Mac, you don't want to run that line I just pasted in. You want to run a simpler line that I'll put in the description as well. But I assume most of you have M series chips, so that's what we're going with, and that's the kind that I have. So that's what I did. Then we can verify that PyTorch with GPU support has been installed by pasting in this line, pressing enter, and it should come back as true. And it did, so we are golden, we are good to go. But we want to also do one more step, which is to install TensorFlow. Now, this is actually optional. I don't think I use this just yet, but I plan on trying to use it in the future. So we're going to go ahead and install it. So just copy and paste this line in. This is for TensorFlow. Let it install everything it needs to install. And then we can verify that it's installed with GPU support by pasting in this line. And this will take a few seconds, but it should come back giving us a device, and it should give us device 0:GPU. It should say GPU somewhere on the line for the device type. And we can see physical device GPU 0, device type GPU. Perfect. So we've got our virtual environment created. We've got it all set up. We have already made our YAML file, so we're ready to do a test train. So let's minimize that, and we will just say mlagents -learn, and then you want to pass in your YAML. So it's test config.yaml, and then you just got to give it a run ID. You got to give it a run ID every time you do a training session, every time you start a new one. So run ID equals, we'll just call it test. And assuming we did everything correctly, which we didn't, we messed something up in the YAML. But I think I've got it fixed for that. Yeah, but I'm going to put the correct one in the description, so you won't even have to fool with this step. This is just something that I messed up. And that should fix it. Saved it. Now I'm just going to run exactly what I just ran. So I just press up on the number pad, the arrow keys, I mean, and press enter. And that's what we should get, assuming everything is installed correctly. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. Although I'm not completely satisfied and convinced that everything is installed correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to port over a project I've been working on in Windows and see if everything is working the way it should. So this will time out. It's waiting for you to press play in Unity, but we don't have our scene or a scene set up to be able to communicate with the mlagents virtual environment. So I've got some bad news. The GPU acceleration is not working, and porting over a previously trained model from a Windows computer is not going to work very well, or work at all, really. So it does work, mlagents, but it's just using my CPU, and I'm sure there's a way to get it to where it can use GPU and GPU acceleration, but as far as I can tell, it's not like built into it, you know? Like, you gotta modify some like source files in order to do it. I don't know if this is something they're going to change in the future. I sure do hope so, because I don't really want to change source files. But I'll show you that it should be working correctly. It's just not using my GPU. So I think I've got everything set up correctly. I just need to type in mlagents-learn. Then I need to pass in the YAML. I got one called race_self_play.yaml. And then we need to give it a run ID. So run ID equals 000. And if I press enter, We get that, so that looks like it's working correctly. If we press play, we can see that it is training, and we don't have any errors, so that's good. It's just, I know that it's not using my GPU. I could just tell pretty much off the bat. I've only got one agent training right now, but on my Windows computer, I had like at least 5, usually 10. And when I had 10 in here, it was like really laggy, much laggier than what was on my Windows computer. I also couldn't use a previously trained model because a lot of the tensors and stuff were using CUDA, and I was getting a bunch of errors saying that, it found one tensor on CUDA and another on the CPU, and I don't know. It was a mess. It just wasn't working at all. So that was pretty disappointing. It's also disappointing that I can't get the GPU acceleration working. I did try to modify some source files and didn't really have much luck with that. So I'm just going to bail on that for right now. You can still train with the CPU, and you can still, you get the same results. It's just going to slow down the training process for you, because it's just using your CPU, and more than likely it's just using one thread or one core on that CPU. So, well, that's actually not true. If you set threaded to be true in your YAML, then it should multi-thread. So that part's actually not true. But yeah, so everything is working. It's just we just couldn't get the GPU acceleration working. I'm gonna keep playing around with that, and if I do figure it out, I will make a part 2 to this video and put it in the description, and probably make it pop up at the end of this video. And yeah, so sorry if you are disappointed about not being able to get the GPU acceleration working. I am too. I am disappointed as well, because I've got this powerful Mac computer that I can't fully utilize in order to train my agents. But not being able to transfer over my previously trained model kind of made me not care. I'm just going to keep using my Windows computer for this, at least for this specific training environment that I've created. So yeah, thank you guys for watching though. Hopefully it still helped you. You can still get mlagents working on your Mac, and you can still train and do everything you need to do, just without GPU acceleration currently. So hopefully that'll change though, and I will make an updated video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.